Hey folks, this is Ben with Road to VR, and I'm here at Oculus Connect. Now joining me is Kyle and Martin from Striker VR. They have a really cool haptic technology that they're working on for weapon feedback. And Kyle, I'm just going to ask you right now can you just show it to us? I just want to hear it.
Yeah, sure. So this is semi-automatic mode, so it's just one shot when you pull the trigger.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that so much on the camera, but his shoulder is like actually moving. Can you turn sideways or the other way? Look that way, and now shoot it again. And you can see that's some pretty impressive kick right there. Can you also do the full auto or burst?
Yeah, full auto. Here you go.
All right, so it looks like we're not here with a bunch of people, but there's actually a bunch of people around us, so we're going to stop shooting it so we don't disturb them. But tell me why that feedback is more awesome than what I've experienced in arcades or anywhere else.
So this was originally developed for the military, and we're starting to push the technology into the consumer side. So it's already got a realistic kick. It's plus or minus 5% of the real kick for the military. So about 5 months ago, Martin started to see that the VR was really popping up, and we decided to jump in the industry and see where we could take.
And now you're powering this off of a backpack right now, so battery is enough to make that happen.
Yeah. So this demo, it's a relatively large battery in it, but it'll last for about 6,000 shots.
So this demo is really going after that new laser tag experience. 10 on 10, 20 on 20. So no longer are we going to be looking at the experience of smoke, lasers, and black lights. You'll be having full-on airstrikes coming from above in the virtual environment. So that's why we created the untethered backpack demo. So to really kind of cater to that experience. I mean, VRcade's going after it, zero latency, and a couple other players that are just random around the world that have been contacting us. So.
Can you guys break down a little bit about what's actually in the gun and doing the kick? I mean, of course, it's proprietary to some extent, but I understand that some of the systems are air-based and this one is not, and that makes it different, right?
Yeah, so the pneumatic systems in the military, that's basically what this is replacing. They're all kind of mature. There's no more innovation that can really happen with them. They've been trying for a long time to make the recoil realistic. So they'll have tethers like this that are driving gas, like air's coming through them. And every time they pull the trigger, they're turning the pressure so high it starts kicking the user like a fire hose. So they really want to get around that. So that's why electronic recoil is important. So yeah, this can be modified into pretty much any kind of kick that you want to give other haptic effects as well.
And so you actually have a pistol prototype as well, is that correct?
Yeah, that's upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, the pistol prototype. We were looking at that as a possibility for, the arcade type system, something that can be at bars and different venues, 2 people with 2 guns, 2 HMDs, and, basically, I don't know, kind of a big buck hunter style setup game, but, opening up that market of games, like if we can get with the right HMD together, to be able to go after that digital out-of-home market, I mean, immediately there's an opportunity to start having developers be able to get paid when people play their game on this out-of-home console concept. So it's an interesting thing we're looking at. So that would be, but that was the handgun model is the first of that type. So.
Is it harder to fit that amount, the technology you need for the feedback into the handgun size?
Actually, no. I'll answer the question you asked earlier. So the motor is relatively small. The length of it's about these 2 bolts. You can see that kind of on camera. And then the width is just the same width as this. But the slider, the actual element that's moving, that can change length. So you can change weight, and you can have longer linear motions, to simulate other types of devices, or in this case, weaponry. So the technology is really flexible, to answer your question. And it can fit in definitely like handgun-sized units, and that's kind of what the military is most interested in right now.
And now, what's your background with this? I don't think you woke up one day and popped your head off the pillow and said, I want to make a weapon technology to replace the pneumatic systems that are currently being used for haptic weapon feedback. So Can I get a little bit of an origin story?
Sure. So like it was about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. There's another company where our startup was, and they were doing the visuals. So for the military, they use these big mall-sized rooms, and they basically shoot at the wall with a couple lasers, and they have cameras that detect the situation. And they were using pneumatic recoil, and they were like, God, if we could get electronic recoil and replace all this, and like have better kick and just a better response time, because pneumatic recoil actually is like slower kick when you pull a trigger. It doesn't actually happen immediately like this. If you could do that and create that product, we'd love to buy it. So we spent a couple months, scratching our heads how to put that together. Came up with this, patented it, and then that's how we got here.
So I think as a gamer myself, and somebody who's played lots of cool VR demos where you're wielding guns, this would be awesome to have. Can the technology get to a point of reliability and affordability that it could be in the home?
Well, reliability is really already there. So this is actually, so we patented the application of generating recoil and haptic effects using linear motors. So, so the reliability is already there. This motor will actually go through roughly like 2 billion cycles before it breaks. You'll probably break the trigger with your finger before before the motor breaks. So you have that, and then to reduce the cost and market, and that's really why we're going after military and digital out of home first. So, but we feel we can get it around $155 in a controller and battery powered.
100 maybe in this year 2, and then 55 by year 4 or 5. So.
And how much power does it need right now? Could this be powered off of USB potentially?
No, so it'll definitely actually have to have a battery pack, but we are considering actually designing some specific motors just to do recoil effects. So perhaps.
We've actually also done the battery research, and
so for like the ultra high-end military applications, so we're redoing all of the electronics, all the off-the-shelf electronics, and they'll all be fitted inside the weapon. And the batteries, they'll charge about like 2.5 minutes, maybe 3, and they'll go through many cycles, like about 2,000 cycles before they break, and they'll give you about 600 to 1,500 shots, depending on the weapon type and the amount of recoil you want to produce. So we think we can get that we can cheapen that and get that to the consumer in a big way.
Very cool. Can I just feel it? Can I try it real quick? Here, can you hold this for me? Sure. Thank you.
And you want to put it in on?
That's awesome. Yeah, let me do that too.
Yeah, flip the switch on the left. Up. Yeah, there you go.
It's good stuff, guys. I think the VR community is going to be really excited to get their hands on that level of feedback. It's not something. It's kind of something you pretend to do right now, but to be able to feel it is really neat.
That's one of the things that I really feel like it's the first way that the masses can really feel the virtual world. It's exciting to shoot a gun in real life, and then in the virtual world, it's such a simple haptic delivery, but also such an impactful one. So, we're excited to see where it goes, and excited to collaborate.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope the rest of your conference is very productive.